What's going on, guys? Option here. With the holiday season just right around the corner, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are actually either on the fence about getting a Switch or are going to pick up one. And since the Switch doesn't come with any games like the Wii and Wii U did, you might be curious as to what you can download and play just right out the box without buying anything or without purchasing any games. So I decided to put together a little guide of every Switch demo on the eShop currently. Well, in the American region, you can pull some hocus pocus and get access to different region servers, but let's keep it simple for now. And for no particular reason, we're going to be kicking things off with Master Blaster Zero. This is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, kind of like Contra a little bit. You basically run around and you shoot things, except this time you have a vehicle, and you can shoot things while you're in the vehicle, or you can get out on foot, but keep in mind you're more vulnerable on foot, though you can access more things like caves, you can climb ladders, different things like that. There's also sections that kind of mix it up and turn things into an overhead shooter, which is pretty neat. And there's even a two-player mode where one person is the target and the other is the actual main character. As far as the story, it's set in a post-apocalyptic setting. Like, it's so post-apocalyptic that it came around and now everything is fine again, I guess. Basically, the main character's pet frog escapes through a portal, and now he's trying to track it down, or something like that. It's a pretty fun game. I was playing it for a good maybe 20 or 30 minutes, and I still haven't beaten even one of the areas yet, so it's quite a bit of content here. I would say check it out, and if you end up liking it, it's only $10 anyway. Disgea 5, out of all the you might be thinking, out of all the games on this list, how are you pronouncing how are you pronouncing this one? I don't know. I happen to know this game. I never really got into the series though. This is actually my first time playing it, but I did have fun. Like, the dialogue is fun. It's kind of classic, sort of JRPG-esque, or actually probably just full-on JRPG.
Even though I've gotten long in the tooth and I'm wounded all over, I was once the feared throwing overlord, and I'm still sharp. Lift and throw, lift and throw, lift and then throw.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. The voice acting is fun. The characters are all kind of exaggerated and silly. They have, you know how some anime works where every character has like their own special quirk or thing they say. The pennies always say "dude." The main guy, he sits down and eats food at random points in time. The main female protagonist, she's always she's super fussy, never been in a fight before, shooting things with guns. Some of the dialogue is actually really funny, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I haven't finished the demo yet, but I think I will, and I may even buy this. This is actually a pretty fun game. I don't think it needs much explanation because most people are probably at least somewhat familiar with Disgea, or if you're watching this video, you're probably at least familiar with what a kind of an anime or JRPG is, so you probably already have a good feel of what's to come in this one. But yeah, definitely check out the demo if you haven't played this game. It's a free way to kind of wet your whistle, so to speak.
Every story has a beginning. Ours begins in a tavern. The Monkey Tavern.
Heroes of the Monkey Tavern. This is the only game on the list that isn't out yet, at least not for a few days. I believe it comes out on the 7th of November. And yeah. So at first I was expecting this to be some kind of RPG, like indie RPG, but it's actually a dungeon crawler, and the way that it operates is pretty I don't know if this is unique. I'm not a big dungeon crawler person, but you basically, as you're walking around, it's almost as if you have a party. Like, so you have 4 characters, each are doing their own different thing, and when you're in battle, you kind of switch between the portraits. The portraits mean nothing. It's just to help you as a player differentiate who's who. and yeah, you can customize stats and all that. So it's kind of like an RPG dungeon crawler sort of feel. But the problem, while I did think the idea was pretty cool, the problem is that the controls are just, oh, like you use the directional buttons on the left Joy-Con to move around, and you can look around with the right analog stick. Yeah, and it's and you have to change where you're looking with the the shoulder buttons, the left and right shoulder buttons. I don't know why I couldn't say that. And it just, yeah, I just did not like the combat in this one, and the movement felt really stiff. And I know it's like classic dungeon crawler style, which is, you know, which is fine. If you're into that sort of thing, you're gonna have a lot of fun, but I did not have much fun with this one. Hopefully it does well though. But yeah, maybe it might receive an update, because I prefer to just be able to just walk around and just look around freely, but you can't really do that. There's seems to be multiple paths in the demo. So like I've had one playthrough where I ran into no monsters at all, and in the second playthrough I actually ran into two, and yeah, ended up dying. So yeah, the combat takes a while to get used to, like switching between the characters and whatnot. Let's see how the game launches. I might check out a couple reviews for it just to see how it, if it changes. It's only going to be a couple days, so I don't know if it's going to change or not, but I'll be tracking this one. But yeah, if you want to download it, it's in the eShop. I don't know how long, if they're going to take it down after the game releases. Not sure, but yeah, definitely check it out. And if there's any dungeon crawler fans out there, definitely let me know how this stacks up. Like, is this the kind of dungeon crawler experience you was expecting, or do you agree with me with the controls being a little stiff? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Just Dance 2017 and 2018. So this is another one of those games that I don't think needs much explaining to it. I mean, you basically follow along with the avatar with the Joy-Con in hand and kind of just dance along. I'm not gonna lie, when I never really played Just Dance, but this demo this let me know why this thing is still a thing. Why Just Dance? I was wondering, why is this still coming out? But it's actually pretty fun, and you can play with Joy-Con, or I believe now you can play with mobile devices. I didn't really give that a shot, but tell me how it is in the comments if you have tried it with a mobile device and if it's as accurate. But yeah, I mean, I actually had fun with this, so I think it's definitely worth a download. You can play 2 players in the demo, so you can grab a friend along. I didn't try more than 2 players, but I know for a fact you can play at least 2.
Wake up. The time has come.
Oceanhorn. So I think coming to this one, I had heard it was kind of a Zelda-esque game, except it was overhead, even though there, I guess, have been some Zeldas that had the overhead camera. And yeah, I don't think those statements are wrong. It's very Zelda-esque, with the puzzles and the item collecting. Even though the demo is only maybe 20 minutes long or so, you kind of get a feel for all that. Lots of dialogue that you have to kind of read and kind of shift through. But there's voice acting, so that does help a lot. But yeah, I mean, if you know Zelda, you probably know this one. Young boy with the sword slashes things and kills things. It kind of reminds me of Wind Waker a bit, where you can kind of travel on a boat between islands, though that wasn't in the demo, unfortunately. Yeah, they wasn't really nice enough to let us have that in the demo, but overall, it's a pretty cool game. I would catch it when it's on sale. I think at one point it was on sale for like $11, so I'm sure during the holidays it's going to be on sale again for around there. So I would say catch it on sale. At the very least, play the demo. I did enjoy the demo, but I don't know if I'm going to be picking this one up simply because, I mean, I was never that huge of these kind of Zelda-esque games. Yeah, I just prefer playing the actual thing, but it's still a fun game, and I would say check it out at the very least. Check out the demo. Pixel Lines. It's kind of a play on words from pixel. They added P-I-C-Z-L-E instead of P-I-X-E-L. It's get it? Get it? But yeah, I actually had a lot more fun with this than I thought I would. Basically, what you have to do is connect the different dots to one another to form a picture. And how you do that is however many spaces that dot has is how many spaces you need to travel across the board to connect to the other dot. So if there's a 3 space, you have to travel 3 spaces and then connect to it. It's actually a really cool little puzzle game once you get used to the flow of it. And every time you figure out a puzzle, it shows you the full picture of what you created, and actually kind of comes to life in the lab. Basically, the story is the scientist invented this gun that turns things into pixels, and everything got pixelated. Now you have to like solve the puzzles. So the main game is, I believe, the story mode, and then there's the puzzle mode. The puzzle mode is not available, but apparently this is gonna have free updates, which is actually a really cool thing. So if you want to check this out, I would say go for it, especially the demo. I think the demo is worth a playthrough regardless. Alright, so this game probably doesn't need much explaining. This is Pokken Tournament DX. I believe this was by the creators of Tekken, if I'm not sure. At least it's done in the same style. And basically, yeah, it's Pokemon fighting each other, kind of Tekken style here. And yeah, it's a kind of a port over from the Wii U version, but it's more content added. In the demo, though, you only get 3 characters. You get Pikachu, Charizard, and Empoleon, if I'm saying his name correctly, Empoleon. You only get those 3 characters, but the game is actually pretty fun. You can play it with a friend. It does have multiplayer. However, keep in mind, you only get a certain number of battles. So I believe you only get about 18. And deleting it and re-downloading it does not work. It will remember how many battles you have left. I didn't really test it because I still want to play the game. Test to see if you could re-download it, but you could probably do some things with regional servers where you could probably download it from a different region, and maybe it might still work. I haven't tried it with different profiles either, so you can always test that out. Puyo Tetris. Puyo. You know, I really need to look up these names before I start recording. I really do need to just go to Google Translate. I'm gonna do that, but not in this video. So yeah, this is actually, so like I said before, I'm not a big fan of puzzle games, but this was actually really fun. It's as you would guess by the name, it's a blend between Puyo and Tetris. Where Puyo you have to match up different little globs together to get them off the screen, while Tetris you have to fill up a full, obviously you know how Tetris works, fill up a full line of blocks, they disappear. So it's actually really cool to see the two blended together. You can go head to head with friends, and even in a demo, I think it's up to 4 players. You might be able to get more than that, but even in a demo, you can go head to head. One person can play Puyo, and the other person can play Tetris, and you can even swap. Where at one point you'll be playing Puyo, and then you'll switch over and you'll start playing Tetris. I suck at this game. I could not beat any of the CPUs. I tried regular 1-on-1. It got my butt kicked. Tried 2-on-2, got my butt kicked. So it's a fun game. I believe it's challenging, but to someone who's actually good at puzzle games, you probably won't have an issue with it. But I think it's worth at least downloading the demo if you're a fan of Tetris or Puyo, either one. Rayman Legends Super Definitive Edition. Okay, I'm joking, but I feel like game has had a couple different iterations. I mean, I know originally I think it was supposed to be exclusive for the Wii U, but it was kind of backpedaled, and it's like, oh wait, no, it's coming out on everything else now. It's came out. I think it's even come out on PC, because I do remember playing it on PC at one point, or maybe I'm just delusional. But anyway, it's actually a really fun game. It's side-scrolling Mega Man, can't go wrong with that. And the demo is even multiplayer, and it's actually very easy to jump in and out of multiplayer in this. You just, if the person leaves, you just keep letting them die until the game is like, okay, bye bye. I didn't do any multiplayer in the demo, but I kind of tried it a little bit. Well, I didn't do any multiplayer in the footage, but I kind of tried it a little bit myself, and yeah, it actually does work pretty well. 2 players can hold both Joy-Cons, so right out the box you can play this with a friend. And yeah, it's a really cool game. You can also, there's also a tablet mode or handheld mode, whatever, where you actually can move platforms and things like that out the way. I didn't really showcase it here because it's handheld mode, and it's a little difficult to record handheld mode. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I'm probably gonna go back and play as some of the different characters. I think there's more heroes in the full game, but in the demo you get about 6. You can kind of switch back and forth and choose from. Snipperclips. This little indie game took the world by storm when it launched on the Switch. Back in, I believe it was a launch title back in March, but that was probably to do with the fact that the Switch didn't really have many games at launch, so you didn't really have much of a choice. But I actually played this game with my girlfriend. The footage, I didn't really record that, unfortunately, so the footage you're gonna see is mostly single player here. But no, we had a lot of fun, and she's actually trying to force me to buy it now. So it's actually a really neat little puzzle game. My girlfriend doesn't even usually like puzzle games, so this was a nice fun experience for the both of us, since either of us don't really do the whole puzzle thing. But it's nice to work together. You basically just work together to solve puzzles, and the demo gives you, I believe, a good 3-4 levels outside of the tutorial to kind of play around with, and it's only $20. It's probably worth the check out if you have fun with it. I think you can have some fun in single player, but it's primarily a multiplayer experience, obviously. Spelunker Party. Spelunker Party. I think that's how you pronounce it. I should have just looked that up. I'm really bad about doing that. But anyway, we're just gonna say Spelunker Party of right now, and didn't have a whole lot of fun with this one. It might be because maybe it was the demo. Maybe I need just a little bit more content. But it's It's a kind of like one of those dungeon exploration games. You kind of leap across vines, chasms, all that kind of stuff, and kind of just explore. But my main problem was that it feels like you just die a lot. Like, it's really easy to die. Like, if you fall 2 feet, literally, if you jump off the vine 2 feet more than you should have, then you're dead. Like, it's just how it is. Like, you just die. You run out of time. Oh, you run out of time, you're dead. I did try the 2-player experience with this, and yeah, neither of us didn't really have that much fun. But hey, it's a free download. You could check out the demo. I think there's even some customization in the game if you want to check that out. And I didn't see it. I didn't really get far enough to see if there was any customization outside of boy and girl, but you can feel free to give it a shot. It's free, so, well, at least the demo is. There's no online multiplayer, but there is local multiplayer. Project Octopath Traveler, working title. So this is a neat little game, I think, coming out from Square Enix, and it's advertised as having HD 2D graphics, which is kind of like the landscape is almost looks like HD, but it's in 2D. It kind of has a nice aesthetic look to it. I actually had a lot of fun with this game. It's an RPG, and you basically choose what hero you want, and each hero is like a different class. I think there's 8 in total, but in the demo it only gives you 2. Um, the dancer and the warrior, and I haven't tried the warriors yet, but I have done the dancer, and it was a lot of fun. The story is a little on the heavy side. You're gonna have to read a lot of dialogue, a lot of text and things like that. But it's a very fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. The combat is very flashy, which I really love. A lot of effects and aesthetic stuff that explodes everywhere. Really fun game. Voez. Voez. Okay, I think that's Voez. Yeah. I've seen this. I've honestly seen this pronounced about 2 or 3 different ways, so I'm gonna stick with Voez. Voez is a rhythm game. It's a rhythm game for the Switch, but it's unique when it came out, as it's probably one of the few Switch games that you can only play in handheld mode, and it's all touchscreen based. So when I first started it up, I was looking at it and going, why isn't the buttons working? Can you not skip the intro? I didn't even think about the fact that, yeah, you don't use any buttons at all, just the touchscreen. It's a rhythm game, so you're tapping away and you're doing things like that. Yeah, I kind of recording footage off this is a little difficult. So that's why you kind of see me in the dark closet standing alone with a Switch in my hand and just punching away at these little rhythm buttons. Yeah, it was kind of a sad time, but the game is actually pretty fun, and I actually did like the music. It's kind of like an anime-esque sort of game. But yeah, it was actually really good, and I enjoyed it. If you like rhythm games, if you want to check it out, yeah, definitely download the demo off the eShop. And phew, okay, and that is all the demos available on the Nintendo eShop. There is one more technically free quote-unquote game that you can download. It's the Namco Museum with Pac-Man, though to be honest, it's a multiplayer only version, so the only way you can play it is you have to have someone else with a Switch, and they have to own the full game. So it's kind of useless unless you know another person who owns the Switch. Otherwise, you're just sitting there searching for local games, and they really never come up. So yeah, something to keep in mind. I would say don't really waste your time on it. Every time I've played it, it's just been searching, obviously. But yeah, that's the only one. But this is everything I could find in the American region. I think there is more in the Japanese region, which I might even do a video on that later, just detailing, because I think there's Monster Hunter over there. But for this one, I want to keep it simple, just give you a kind of in-depth look at each demo and what they kind of offer. And yeah, if you want to check any of these out, just go in the eShop on Wi-Fi and just download them. And yep, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helps you decide if you wanted to switch or didn't want to switch, or just was curious as to what you could download on the Switch without having to spend any money. Alright, that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, just feel free to leave a comment or throw your opinions out there. What other demos should we get on the eShop here? I would really love a Metroid. I think everyone would love a Metroid Prime demo, or even the new Pokemon working title, getting a demo of that. Yeah, hopefully you guys take care. Have a good one. Bye.